Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holocrunch Popcorn. My name is Andy Madaki.
And I'm Didi. Good morning, Andy.
Hello, Didi. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks because last week they had a mini Abuja marathon.
Yeah.
Which I don't know anyone who participated, but I saw a few videos. Abuja people, you need to participate more in those marathons and in fitness exercises. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been good.
How did Nigeria treat you in the last 1 week?
Same old stress. Apparently the fuel queues are back.
You know what? I saw that yesterday and I started panicking, but I also saw some report where they say it's a logistics issue. We don't care about that. Just fix it.
Exactly. With the price we're paying for fuel, we shouldn't be queuing.
And then, interestingly, power supply, they spoke about increasing tariffs. And then all of us in Nigeria got bumped up to band A. I mean, allegedly, but some people weren't. But I got pushed up to band A. And guess what? We had good power for 1 week. After that, I now have about 8 to 10 hours of power every day, and I'm still put on a band A. And it makes us wonder if we went through the hardship of bad power just so that they could increase tariff, give us good power for a bit. People started complaining and it's gone back to bad. We can't be having this conversation about electricity in Nigeria in 2024. However, when we complain about the economy and different bits of it, inflation plays a role, but young Nigerians are very resilient. People want to actually work. So not everyone is sitting now waiting for a government job. People want to start their businesses. People want to run their businesses.
Yeah.
And for it to work, you need ease of doing business. You need power supply. You need good internet access. Even the internet access has been quite horrible.
Yeah.
DSTV is increasing its prices.
It's wild.
The telcos are increasing their prices. And interestingly, early last year, the National Bureau of Statistics changed its model of grading unemployment. And so Nigeria's unemployment went from about 33 or 38% down to 4 point something percent. However, in February, even with the new calculation, it's now gone from 4 point something percent to 5%. And so unemployment seems to still be going higher, even though the numbers have, the system of checking it has been modified. How does this affect people? How does this affect Nigerians? How does this affect businesses? And we'll be having that conversation on the lifestyle segment today. Joining us, we have
Thank God Cyril, who is a software engineer and founder, Len Brett. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
We also have Seun Akirodolu, who is a product leader and founder, Solacely. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It sounds like we have tech bros with us today. Welcome to the weekend, Sean. I'll start with you. Talking about product unemployment and the conversation which we were just having. It's one thing for people to decide to be entrepreneurs or decide to start startups, but it's extremely important that you're either fixing a problem or delivering a great product. So my first question to you is, are you into the space you are in now because of passion, or was it as a result of the employment gap which we've been talking about?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So for me personally, I have the passion for solving solutions. I mean, when I actually started my career as a software engineer at first, I discovered that there's a lot of solutions that we need to provide to the market today, and these are the few things that people are not even tapping into. The first product I was able to build was U-Laundry, and then it was like, okay, mom will go to work on 9 to 5, and then she doesn't have that time to do some laundry stuff, so I have to build a product around that, so that she just booked it, someone come to pick the product up, and then serve that. Then she just put some references on what she wants the clothes to be done and all those stuff, and we delivered that to her by the end of the day. Based on the fact that we know we have a timeline on that as well. So for me, it was the passion, and for me, it was just that I've always been that technology-driven person right from the early age of my career. So yeah.
What about you? How did you get into your current space?
All right, thank you for having me. Mine started as a result of the need I saw. I grew up in the north, somewhere in Niger State, Suleja, to be precise. I've had this interest in young people younger than me, and I just wanted to create a platform where people can find hope, where people can have access to information and opportunity that can actually make their life better. So that was what led to me creating the platform called LearnBread. Because after COVID, I had not been around at home. So after COVID, I had to go back home to the family house to visit. And I discovered that majority of the young people in the community they involved themselves into fraudulent activities. And that was a concern to me. And I would tell them not to do things like that, but it did not stop there. I had to provide a solution or an alternative for them. So I decided to come up with a platform where people can actually come, learn, and when they learn, they can earn. That is, we're trying to encourage young people to know that there is power in knowledge and information, to encourage them to embrace learning. And apart from the fact that they are embracing learning, that the aspect of actually earning from what you learn is a journey. And wherever phase they find themselves in that particular journey, they should understand where they are currently and know how they can leverage the knowledge and information given to them to have a better life.
I think that's a great three-step process which I should use for a client. Come, learn, and if you follow those three processes, you'll do well in literally anything you want to do in this life.
Cheryl, seeing as you're in the digital space, with the continuous rise in youth unemployment rate in Nigeria, would you say there are digital opportunities in the country for young people?
Yeah, there is, right? There's a lot, and like I said earlier before, it's yet to be untapped. There's a lot of opportunities that even we, the young guys, are not looking into. One of my mentors would say that you can't take learning to the bank, right? You have to earn it, you have to work towards it. And for me, basically, is that when people come to me for mentorship, what I tell is that there's a lot of solutions out there that you can just sit in your home and then discover, review, and then do a lot of research, and then make sure that you're building something that actually matters to people and you touch people's need and people actually can pay for. You get. But today, most of what we want to do as a youth is that we want to make sharp money. You get. So we don't want to take that time to start learning, doing some certain things that help us grow. Basically, for me as a person, is that there was a time when I was still working at a company in CC and then I would leave the house in the morning and go to this place to learn these skills from 9 to 5, and I was not paid for a year. And the goal of it was for me to get the skills to grow, because I know that technology is going to evolve as time goes on. And at that point, I begin to take some courses. I begin to teach as well, because as a learning, you need to be able to put back that learning stuff into play and make sure that you actually get into those experience. And between that 1 year, the next year, I got the opportunity to work full time. Right, the same company that I usually go to learn all these stuff, and I got a full-time job. And ever since then, I've been trying as much as possible to, even give back to the community as well, because I've spent 9 years in this space, and I feel like, when we come up with those opportunities, we don't want to take it, because when we see young guys driving Benz, we're like, man, I want to make those monies. I want to make sharp money. I don't want to take time to learn these skills. I want to do stuff, but all my mentor, Bosun Tijani, will say that salary is overrated. You get, or maybe money is overrated at some point in the time. But what you just need is that skills, those opportunities that will just put you into a position of growth. And as you begin to grow, you begin to earn that money that you're even chasing for. You get, and at that point, you just even remove the money in your mind. All you just need is that opportunity to, that space, that lifestyle that will not put you in a position where you begin to struggle. And at the end of the day, the repercussion of it might be different entirely. So for me, as a youth, as an individual, what I would say is that there's a lot to do in the digital space. And that's one of the few things we're trying to do at 3MTT, because I manage the product today. So we're trying to give skills to people, undergraduates. You just come to the platform, get the skills. And you and I know that when it comes to looking for a job, no recruiter will tell you that I want someone who's just graduates with that experience. So what we're trying to do is give you that experience, get that skill, so that when you put yourself out there, it can actually give you that job. So those are a few things that I think we are not tapping into, skills that makes a lot of difference today, especially in the AI space.
Let's go back to what you mentioned about 3MTT. I followed Bosun Tijani's work from CC Hub
CC,
and also Collina with what was doing
Ventures
Ventures
platform.
platform here. And I kind of work in the tech space sometimes, and so it's something I like and encourage. And I love the fact that people are trying to do stuff on their own.
And,
Now we've had the likes of Andela try to provide skills for Nigeria, and they're now in places like Tanzania. I know I saw their office in Kenya and some other places. But with this 3MTT, what exactly is it about, and how does that reduce unemployment?
so for the digital space itself, right, we know that the level of unemployment is rising in Nigeria. And we feel like having these skills would, put in that position of being employable, do you get? So that's what we're trying to do, to give skills, to make you look, employable, to give you that kind of like sense of what you want to do for yourself individually, right? And I feel like for the numbers of people that we've done teach, use our platform to get the skills, I could tell you that they can actually even go out there. And then we also do job placements as well, because these are the people that we believe, we trusted, that they have acquired these skills to be employable. And then when we put them in job placement, just to get that hands-on experience, and they begin to, take the responsibility from that aspect of it.
Okay, thank God. Could you, he's told us about opportunities in the digital space. Could you share some challenges that could be faced in this? Because even your normal non-digital businesses in Nigeria, there are lots of challenges. Imagine now going into tech. What are those challenges that young people or people who are interested could face?
Okay. So one of the challenge that young people in tech would face is like he mentioned, experience is very important. Your ability to solve problems and mindset. So that's why myself and with the company I work with, we try our best to see how we can leverage to educate younger people to appreciate internship. For instance, those that the recent graduates, they should apply for opportunities where they can learn, just like the way he mentioned, and develop themselves. That is one challenge, experience, because some employers will tell you that they need a well-experienced developer, for instance, and you as a new graduate, you're just leaving the school. So how do you acquire this knowledge and all of that? So first, one of the challenges I would say young graduates face is the experience. So they need to acquire this skill. Forget about making money first. Learn. When you learn and you are able to build a product with the knowledge you acquire. For instance, let me say you're a fashion designer and you learn tailoring. There is no way you'll be able to make impact with that skill that you've learned when you don't act or do. So it is very important that in as much as you know that nobody is ready to employ you for the fact that you're just leaving school. So know that you need to use the opportunity to develop yourself, build capacity, and be able to channel what you've learned towards creating a product, because that is very important. It is not just enough to learn a particular skill, but what are you actually doing with that skill? What level of impact are you having in the society? Like, unemployment is a very critical issue. It doesn't just affect an individual. It is a societal problem, something that can affect the whole community. Most especially, you start having issues of insecurities, you start having issues of poverty, inequality, and all of that. But your ability to act with what you've learned, either in school or through internship, just like the program that 3MTT is coming up with, will actually help reduce some of these challenges in that particular space or environment where you find yourself. Yeah.
I remember you saying after the lockdown, you went back to Suleja and you said that a lot of young people were getting into fraud and the likes. Now, I've noticed that when we talk about unemployment, yes, there's the formal and informal sector, and there's a huge percentage in the informal sector, which I know dropped from about 3% to about 79%. However, even for the educated and for those who have now managed to get these skills, for us to be able to make money and develop this nation, we need to be able to market our skills beyond the shores of Nigeria. But issues such as fraud, plays a major role in hampering what we do. I'll give you an example of myself. I have a degree in computer forensics, cybersecurity, and I was in the UK for a while. And there were times I had applied to several jobs, but because I was a Nigerian in cybersecurity, I needed either a security clearance, or some people would just see your name and where you're from, and they don't trust you. The likes of Amazon, a lot of their sellers don't send stuff to Nigeria because they don't want it to be stolen credit cards, or they don't want delivery issues. How can we also fix the image of Nigerians in the employment market to ensure that people can have these tech skills, for instance, and work remotely from Nigeria without having to battle with the young Nigerian prince or the fraud cases? There are still a lot of romance cases. We see what young people are doing with Yahoo Yahoo, and both of you, either of you, can answer this. How do we now fix that? Because it's a big problem, even if they've got the skills.
I think you can just go first. Yeah.
Okay. I would suggest, one of the first thing I would suggest is partnership and certifications. Yeah, so most companies have started doing that already. You see companies partner with other bigger companies, like the likes of Google, Microsoft, to see how they can bring in programs that can actually fill in that gap, you understand? So in a situation whereby you as a developer, you know you are skilled, you've acquired this skill, but at that point now there is an issue with trust, you get. So because of the something in quotes you get, it's not as if you are like that. But with the help of this partnership, for instance, Microsoft partnering with a particular company in Nigeria, it builds that level of trust that at least you went through this particular program and you've earned this certification. For you to go through this program, that means you know what you're doing. Exactly. So there is that level of trust. I think trust in that level or towards that aspect can help bridge that gap. Because even myself, I was into freelancing at some point. Like I started software development in the year 2016, immediately after school. Yeah, so I noticed it was very difficult for me to get a job immediately. Most especially remote jobs. I did remote work at some point. One of the challenge was the Nigerian factor. Many people will tell you have to go through proxy, stuff like that. And I wouldn't want to encourage that. So it is good that as Nigerians, we should be known for what we do, and we should be bold about it. That's why I talked about the aspect of acting on your skill. There are a lot of products out there built by Nigerians, and it is celebrated worldwide. Nobody will go out there and tell them, you're from Nigeria, we won't use your product because it is a... So when your product is actually solving a particular problem, people will use it regardless of where you are from or your location. So I think number one, certification, and secondly, acting on solving problems regardless of the location. They would come and find you. I'm opportuned to work with a company. Yes, that's Unicorn Group of Companies. So Unicorn Group of Companies is the first company to build the humanoid robots in Africa. It's called Omifair AI. So you can check that out. Yeah. So this company is in Nigeria. Nobody knew about it. But the moment they came up with the first humanoid robots in Africa, Omifair AI is now everywhere, attending global conferences. Nobody is asking, are you from Nigeria? Or what part of Nigeria are you from? Are you sure we can do business with you? They've been able to see that tangible product that is actually making impact in the aspect of digital literacy, in the aspect of translation, artificial intelligence, and other areas. So I think that can also help to bridge that gap.
Okay, so adding to what you said, right, you made mention of partnership. I think we are at that stage where even global companies come to Nigeria to hire talent. Yesterday I read a tweet about a guy who stays in UK, US rather, and then comes to Nigeria to hire talent for companies. Right? I mean, people will still do fraud, and people will still do what they do best. But what we keep doing is that we need to still do what we do best on our own side of it to make our parents as talents in Nigeria a lot of better. So for me, before I even joined 3MTT, if I joined FCMDID, which is Bosso Tijani, I work with Oculus as the principal product manager. at that point. So imagine a Oculus coming to Africa to hire a talent. So it means that we already acquired that global recognition. So what we just have to do is we need to begin to tap into it, just like what Tunde Onakoya did, and then you went to Times Square. I plan of doing something like that very soon in the future, but
All the best.
but we already putting ourselves as the Nigeria as place where people can actually come to hire talents in terms of software engineers, in terms of product people. I've seen a couple of tweets online where I see people talk about, okay, I work for Facebook, I work for Microsoft, I work for other stuff. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity that companies get when they hire Nigerians, right? But at the end of the day, the bad side will still be, the bad side of it. But we still need to welcome this opportunity when it comes to Nigeria. And then we, on the other side of the talents, I know Nigeria doesn't disappoint. So wherever we find ourselves, we do what we have to do best and then prevail as of it. So I think what we have to do as a Nigerian is to continue to do what we do best, provide that talent, provide that professional growth that we need to do in every space that we find ourselves. And then by the time between the end of this year, probably maybe in the next 5 years, the Nigeria fraud of everything will be cleared out of the main picture of it.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, congratulations on what you're doing. I wish you the best in all your endeavors. I hope you break set a Guinness World Record. And like I said, I'm more encouraged by the fact that this is a road less traveled. Most people just want that government job, that CBN, that's NCC and the likes, but seeing people get into tech, do different stuff like what you're doing with AI. So we are not just playing catch up with the rest of the world, with building skills and developing people, and also the right products to come in handy. I saw Naseni signing an agreement, I think, with Nasria and some people to start building lithium batteries in Nigeria. We need those little bits. We need to have factories where you can print and make printer inks. And little things that we need for everyday use and we don't need to import. But most importantly for the government and to your minister as well, it's extremely important that ease of doing business is prioritized. You see a lot of business complain about multiple taxations. We see a lot of businesses complain about being over-regulated. We see a lot of businesses complaining about the exchange rate and how it affects their business. And so most people don't necessarily want to work for government. People just want to have jobs, sustain their businesses, and make money. And that would also fix the unemployment gap and also reduce fraud and crime. That's how much we can take on the lifestyle segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, more on The Weekend Show.
Thank you for having us.